In September 2008, right before then Treasury Secretary Henry Paulson persuaded then President George W. Bush that the sky was falling and that it was the fault of the mortgage companies and only huge loans from the government to those companies would prevent an economic crisis, the debt of the federal government was around $9 trillion. Today, that debt is around $14.3 trillion, an increase of nearly 50% in just 2.5 years. In September 2008, there were 31 million Americans on food stamps. Today, there are 44 million Americans on food stamps, an increase of nearly 50% in 2.5 years. In September 2008, gasoline prices averaged about $1.75 a gallon. Today, they average over $4 a gallon, an increase of over 150% in 2.5 years. Since 2008, the total value of all Americans' homes, the principal investment for most of us, has gone down by an aggregate of around $6 trillion, and over 3 million homes have been lost to foreclosures. And last month, the Treasury reported that 43% of Americans receive some form of financial benefit from the federal government. And if you add to this the salaries and benefits and wealth transfers paid by state and local governments, the percentage of Americans dependent on the government approaches 50. That's one half of the country working to support the other half. These are, of course, statistics, and they are subject to interpretive analysis. And where you stand sometimes depends on where you sit. If you're sitting as an academic with tenure, as a government employee with no competition, or as a union member with benefits guaranteed for life, little of this bothers you. And if you sit dependent on the government, or if you sell products to the government, little of this will disturb you. But remember what government is. It consists of the lawful use of force for the good of those in power. And today, those in power, and for the most part, those who have been in power since the beginning of the New Deal, have used the government's monopoly on force to take liberty, to steal property, and to compel behavior that suits their needs, all the while claiming that we are better off for it. In 2008, when banks made bad business decisions, instead of the banks suffering the natural consequences of those decisions, the federal government bailed them out, and we all suffered the consequences. Former President Bush recently acknowledged that the stimulus packages that he signed into law were inconsistent with his beliefs in the free market and were the opposite of what he told the voters he would do. Is that what we get from an oath to uphold the Constitution? Remember TARP and the Bush administration borrowing from foreign governments? Remember the $1,600 per family they gave away one summer? Remember how it was sold to us as a cure for our economic woes? The joke was that the feds borrowed money from India so they could give cash away to Americans who would buy flat-screen TVs made in China. This boondoggle and TARP cost you and your children $1 trillion in the last year of President Bush's administration. Not to be outdone, President Obama borrowed and gave away over $2 trillion in the first year of his administration. These days, he borrows $1.5 trillion a year just to help him run the government. What is the lesson here? It is that all this borrowing by the government, none of which is paid back except by more borrowing, has not led to prosperity. It has just led to economic control. The government has access to the same statistics as do the rest of us. You'd think the feds would learn that since the final year of the presidency of George W. Bush and into the presidency of Barack Obama, debt is deeper, foreclosures are greater, dependency on the government is broader, inflation is higher, unemployment is static, and now it costs you about $70 to fill the tank of your car. Why have prices gone up and packages of goods become smaller? Because the dollar buys less today than it did in September 2008. And why is that? Because the government has borrowed from the Federal Reserve, which has created money out of thin air and thus devalued all the dollars already in circulation. What is the answer? Oh, the big government types in both parties want more of the same. More borrowing and spending, more debt and regulation, more dependency on the government, more control by it. But those who love this country and love freedom know that first principles will save us. The government must reside within the confines of the Constitution. Its borrowing has nearly choked the economy, and it must stop now.